guys, what's up? It's Matthew J. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hey. So today's video is basically just about this guy who tried to get with me and four of my friends, and we all said no. But before we get into it, I kind of need to break it down for you guys. So three of the people that I'm gonna mention were people that I was basically just hanging out with on the weekends. The other person was somebody that I went to high school with, who I mostly saw on the weekdays, like after school, stuff like that. But then there were times where he and I would meet up with this specific group that I'm gonna mention, and that was kind of more on a occasional basis. Hopefully that makes sense, but there's a lot of overlap, so bear with me. Okay, so if you knew me in high school, there was this group of people that I would basically hang out with on like Fridays or the weekends, and it was messy. We all kind of dated each other at one point or another. It was kind of like Friends, the show, but with drinks. So there was this one night that I had the guy over that tried to get with me and my friends, and it was just him and I, and we got twisted and we made out. He wanted to go further, but I kind of just turned him down and he left. But not before smoking all my cigarettes, green, eating all my food, and basically critiquing my apartment. Like, damn, did I know how to pick 'em, bitch. So after that happened, I basically called my best friend and told him about this. And I found out on that phone call that he actually tried to get with my best friend. And I wasn't aware of this at the time. So I was like, wow, like he really is just making the rounds. So then, time passed and, I just sort of went on about my life. And there was this get together with a few of the people from this group that I was hanging out with, that were invited basically to this guy's house, not the pressed one, but a member of the group, his house. So basically, it was just a kickback, like drinks and pizza, whatever. I don't know about like you and your friends, but when me and my friends get fucked up, the shit comes out. So somehow we just kind of got onto the topic of this guy who was super pressed, and we all sort of just found out that night that he had gotten, pretty close with, to my knowledge, two more people from that group. So now, at this point, what I know is that this press guy tried to get with me, my best friend, and two people at the party. So I'm kind of like, okay, who's next? Like, what is your body count? Because it's probably ridiculously, unhealthily high. So as the night went on, more details started to come out, and we sort of realized that this guy had kind of a routine with people and trying to get with them. So he would get a little twisted, get someone feeling good, and make them feel comfortable around him, and then sort of make his move. Which, I mean, that's kind of like hookups, in general. But it gets messy, I feel like, when it's within a friend group. And that's kind of what I was not into. And my friends weren't either. It just really, started to go downhill from there. So after we found out sort of his routine and the fact that he had been doing this with so many people that we all knew, we kind of just were like, okay, this is way too messy, like we need to sort of cut him out. And that's so petty, I know, but like this really was a time where I was kind of immature and petty. It's definitely not something that I am proud of. And doing that definitely is not something that I'm proud of looking back. And it definitely was a regrettable moment, because I definitely know what it feels like to have quite a few people cut you off. I definitely learned my lesson from that. I was just sort of in this mindset of like, nah dude, who do you think you are? Some goddamn Adonis? Wake up. So then about a year later, I find out from yet another friend that this person, the pressed one, was trying to get with him. a year after all of this happened. So I was like, okay, he's just not gonna give up. And this was the friend that I went to high school with, the one that I would see, mostly on weekdays after school. And what shocked me about this was that he really wasn't a, permanent fixture of this group. He didn't really like the energy, and it was something that I kind of ignored at the time because I was like, you know what? I'm not really used to feeling accepted by a whole bunch of people, that run in the same circle. So I was sort of naive to just this person's like games, and I sort of tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, how many times can you do that before you kind of wake up and realize the truth about somebody? And now that I think about it, a lot of my life has been spent drunk. Do I have a drinking problem? So basically, to make a long story short, after I heard about this guy trying it with someone who wasn't even part of this particular group, I was like, wow, this bitch is really trying to get more action than the Lincoln Tunnel. And me being young and sort of immature at this point, I, was kind of just impulsive and decided to block this person on all social media and their number so they couldn't contact me. I just really was like very uncomfortable. I like really hadn't been in a situation like that, and it was just really too close for comfort. And let me be clear, like, none of us were perfect, me included. I definitely had my moments, and I still do to this day. But I think, to sort of have such little respect for others, come on, dude, get it together. And I just sort of started to realize that, this wasn't just a coincidence. This wasn't just because we were all friends. Like, it was a lot deeper than that. And after this situation sort of all came to light for all of us, this group sort of really fell apart, and it became really toxic, and then there was a bunch of gossiping and shit talking and lies spread, and just, it was really bad. It was sort of the beginning of the end, you could say. But as time passed, I sort of, really distanced myself from this group, and I realized that, the people that I considered really close friends were a lot more similar to this pressed guy and what he was willing to do than, me and what my values were. And I just, was like, this shit is just not for me anymore. And to this day, I have not hung out with that group, and it's been like it's been around 6 years, and honestly, leaving that group and sort of going out on my own and just starting fresh and meeting new people was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And, to this day, I don't regret it. Sometimes I feel like you really just gotta do what works for you. All right, you guys, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on social media to keep up with me when I'm not posting on YouTube. I honestly post more on Instagram than I do on YouTube. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest, make sure to follow me there. And I hate saying that because it's like, hello, you will if you want to. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you guys in the next one.